네, 안녕하세요. 우리 게임 방송 시작하겠습니다. 네, 오늘 할 게임은 더 스탠리 패러블. 이게 무한 게임이냐면 뭐라고 해야지? 게임 하는데 나레이션이랑 죽으면서 싸우는 거야. 열심히 싸워. 나레이션 하라는 대로 안 해. 뭐 그렇게 말할 수 있겠네요. 자, 이제 그럼 게임을 시작해 보겠습니다.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
이야기는 스탠리라는 남자 이야기입니다. 이 나레이션이죠, 나레이션
Stanley
이야기.
worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year.
지루해 보여.
Although others might have
이걸
considered
왜
it so
이런
easy,
키보드
Stanley
한
relished
손가락만
every
이렇게 하는 걸
moment the orders came in, as though he
즐긴단
had been
말이야.
made exactly for this job.
소름 돋잖아.
And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change
바꿔버리고.
Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened.
세상에.
This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid,
되게
Stanley
수동적인
found himself
인간이었죠.
unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
옵션.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
문 닫았다.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
메모?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
이씨, 컴퓨터 꺼. 정기절약을 생활합시다. 딱히 뭐 있는 것 같지 않네요. 아우, 그림이 아주 예뻐. 아, 컴퓨터를 다 안 끄고 가셨네. 또 어디 그리 급하게 다들 가셔가지고. 이힝 이힝 나밖에 없어. 아, 뭐야, 청소 안 해? 진짜 안 되겠다. 글렀어 이 사람도.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
왼쪽
doors,
문으로
he entered
들어갔습니다.
the door on his left.
그럼 오른쪽 문으로 들어가야지.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
이 나레이션 말 안 들을 거예요. 무시할 거예요.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
뭐니
Stanley simply
커피잔을 왜
stood
이렇게
here,
가만히
drinking it all
있으면 된다고?
in.
우후 우후 이 둥글게 다음 넘어갈까? 뭐 있나?
Yeah. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
그래, 사라졌으면 이게 이제 정말 가치 있네요. 왼쪽엔 첫 번째 문을 들어갔어요. 안 갈 건데요? 뭐라는 거야? 난 앞으로 갈 거야.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible.
아니, 아직 아까 존나 잘 따른다며. 말이 앞뒤가 달라. 가보자.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing
높아
but
보이는데 되게?
you.
떨어지면 죽겠지?
There's someone you've been neglecting.
야,
Really?
잘 가라. 난 여기로 간다. 길을 개척한다.
Consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why? I don't know how to convince you of
뭘
this.
도와줘?
I
넌
really
내가 보기엔 나 안
do
도와줄
want
거야.
to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through.
응, 아니야. 난 파란 물 들어갔어. 아니.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through
파란 물
the
들어갔다니까.
red door.
아, 파란 물 들어갔어. 스탠리는 뭐가 있을까?
I still don't think
아,
we're
진짜
communicating properly.
문이 하나밖에 없는데?
Stanley walked through the red door.
뒤에 파란 물 있잖아. 난 파란 물로 들어갔어.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road?
말 듣는 건 안 돼.
Well, don't let me stop you.
뭐 있을까?
You see?
오잉?
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer
내가 게임 안에 있었어? 나 게임의 주인공이었단 말이야?
The entire story I had written out specifically for you. Do you not think I put a lot of time into that?
날 여기서 내보내줘.
And in the end, it was
저기
all
뭐야?
for nothing because this
저기
is
다른
what
길
you
있나?
wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of
뭐야?
yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want
와,
to see?
저기도 하나 있네.
Vehicles? Skill trees?
다른 길이 또
Work with me,
열로
you've
오나
given me
또?
absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
오케이.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps
아니 안
ahead
들어갈
of
건데 나
where we
아까
were
갈 건데?
Go ahead, Stan.
안 갈 거야.
Take it for a spin.
아니 뭐야? 아니 뭐야? 나는 분명히 오른쪽 문으로 들어왔다고.
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing
좀
you more
멋지니까
choices?
5점 줄게.
Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
오케이 줄게.
Aha!
5점.
You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a
좋았어.
third
좋은
door?
게임 만들어 보라고.
Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my
어서 나의
soul.
게임을 줘.
You can't
날 움직여 보게 하란 말이야.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough,
자,
I've compiled
뭘
a
만들었길래?
version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the
문 열어봐. 나가 보게.
Let's take a look.
오잉? 뭐야? 스탠리 뭐지야? 순위 같은 건가? 때리네. 뭐야? 아니 왠 어느 문을 들어가도 여기네.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated?
아 이건 너무 안 좋았어. 이거는
Again,
사실 별 관심이
honest
없었거든.
answers, please.
이거 쓰레기야.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
새 게임이야?
Let me boot it up.
로딩. 뭐야?
In this game, the baby crawls left.
아 이런 별 잔인한 게임 봤나?
You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly
끊임없이 한다고?
confronting the
씨발 이거
demands
계속 하는 거
of
아니야?
life. I think the art world will
근데
really
눈치밥
take
인생.
notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for
4시간
about
동안
4
하라고?
hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure
저
it's
새끼 미쳤나?
effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
슈퍼 미안해 아기야. 4시간 이거 어떡해?
You heartless
미친
bastard.
게임.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know.
아니 4시간 어떻게 하냐고 미친놈아.
I can't think of a single thing that might
내
improve
나레이션
the
미친
experience
새끼.
for me. I'm not even going to
아
try.
불탄다.
I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my
Okay.
game was so awful, why don't you play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
뭐 보이긴 하네. 살짝 뭐가 보이는데.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
자, 어떤 좋은 걸. 뭐야 이거 씨발. 아니 이거 뭐야 씨발.
Is any better?
아니 이거 씨발 뭐야. 마인크래프트잖아. 아니 점프가 안 되잖아.
Absolutely nothing to do with.
점프가 안 되잖아.
Tell me that.
점프 안 되는 마인크래프트가 말이야?
Ever been enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create
실망이다.
to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley.
아니 이게
I'm
뭐야? 뭐 하는
going
거야
to build
이게?
a house.
이게 뭐냐고? 점프를 내게 해줘. 뭐야 씨발.
This will go here.
혼자 게임하는 거야 너 나 빼고?
And then
와 씨발 나 빼고 혼자 게임하네. 야 게임하는 사람 플레이하는 사람 놔두고 혼자 게임 처하면 어떡하냐?
see, what does it need? Yes, of
Ah,
course. Just to finish it all off. Yes, it's complete.
무슨 예술 작품이야
I
씨발.
knew
이거
this, Stanley.
발로 만들어 내가 이거보다 잘 만들겠다.
Gaze upon my work of art and feel
존나
ashamed
쪼만한다고.
at your own
문 하나밖에 없는데.
inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the
니 말 안 들을 거야. 나 밖에 있을 거야.
Step inside
해봐, 이
and
새끼야.
make yourself comfortable.
안 들어갈 거야. 누가 이기나 보자. 내가 지겠지 그래. 나 시간이 그렇게 많이 없어. 안 들어갈 거야. 뛰어 점프. 씨발 점프 없어. 점프. 씨발 내가 들어간다 그래서 문워크로 들어간다. 뒤로 못 들어가나? 되네.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if. Wait,
최강하러 간다고?
that's it. We must rebuild it.
다이아몬드
Diamond.
오바지.
Diamond
다이아몬드를 줄을
everything.
만든다고?
Yes.
멋있는데?
Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
어잉 뭐야? 뭐야? 여기 밑으로 가야 하나? 오예 동굴이잖아.
It looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
등불 없어. 등불 없다니까? 잘 안 보이는데?
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more
얼마나
narrow and
밑으로 갈까?
linear.
오.
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all.
아니야. 난 재밌었어. 난 충분히 재밌었다고.
Okay, new game.
씨발탱. 나쁜 새끼. 뭐야 이 게임? 이번에는 뭔 게임이야? 아이 잘 됐다.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love
뭐야 이거?
it. You trapped in a glass
이렇게 하면
box,
들어지네.
no way out. Listening
아,
to music.
쨍그랑.
Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
얍. 뭘까? 나아졌네? 약간 비주얼이 약간 이 게임 포탈인데?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
오예. 호액.
Genius.
뻔히 보입니다. 다 예상이 됩니다. 다 예상이 돼요.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's
아 씨발 문
I
열어줘.
really don't care much to see you stumble.
아이씨. 씨발탱. 어잉? 여기 어디야? 여긴 어디야? 떨어진다. 어잉? 여기 또 어디야? 뭐야 이게 무서워. 보이질 않네. 화면 보여요? 어두워. 너무 어두운데? 게임 화면 보이나? 어이씨 저기 뭐야 427 화면 좀 밝게 하는 방법 없나? 그런 건 없는 것 같습니다. 뭐 어떻게 하라고 여기서? 여기가 아닌가? 딴 데 가볼까? 아 여기밖에 밝은 데가 없어. 뭐야?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him.
이 새끼 투머치 토커야.
Someone
투머치
who will wrap
토커라고.
everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
끝나긴 하는 겁니? 뭐야? 예. 엔딩 하나 봤네요. 엔딩 여러 개 있다고 들었어.
All of his co-workers
어,
had gone.
동료들 없어졌어.
Stanley
없어졌다고.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
이번에는 나레이션 말 한번 들어볼까? 들어봐야겠지? 그래, 한 번쯤 들어보는 게 낫겠지.
When Stanley
왼쪽
came to a
문으로.
set of two open
여기까지는
doors, he entered the door on his left.
적당히 알죠? 어디로 가야 돼? 동료들이 사라졌잖아.
Yet there was not a single
아무도
person
없어.
there either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
위층으로 가보자,
Stanley
위층으로.
decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
아.
upstairs to his boss's office.
문 아니고 한 번 더 가야 하나? 아이. 화장실. 여긴 아니고. 여기가 사장실인가? 가졌어.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
너무
indication
무서웠어.
of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
번호판?
And so the boss
이건가?
had assigned it an extra secret pin number. 2845. But of course,
8.
Stanley couldn't possibly.
네가 알려주고 있잖아. 어디서?
Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer
네가 알려주니까 이러는 거야.
luck. Amazing. He stepped
가자.
into the newly opened passageway.
오른쪽. 저기 아무것도 없네. 뭐야? 뭐야? 아씨 뭐야 이거? 얘도 길 있어? 무서워. 아씨 어두워서 안 보여. 후레쉬라도 하나 주지 좀. 내려갑니다. 로딩 중이에요. 자 어디로 가요?
Stanley
자
realized
지금 어디로 내려가요?
it was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This
한 번도
question
없었는데.
would not go unanswered for long.
내가 빨리 진짜. 이게 뭐야?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
Mind
that
control.
read Mind Control Facility.
와이씨 뭐야 이거? 버튼 띵.
The lights rose on an enormous
Oh,
room
yeah.
packed with television screens.
의자 한번 앉아서
What
구경해 볼까?
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
뭐지 이거? 이 CCTV는? 띡.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature revealed.
우와 씨발 이게
Each
뭐야?
bore the number
몇
of an
개야?
employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally haunted in this place where freedom meant nothing.
와씨 할 말 잃었다. 왜 길 또 있네. 와이씨 이거 그거 같다. 그 트루먼 쇼.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
내려갑니다.
No.
올라가는
He
거네.
refused
아
to
씨발.
believe it. He
아.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
씩 아무도 내 감정을 지배할 순 없어.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
버튼이 많네? 여기도 전원 버튼하고 그거 똑같은 거 있고. 뭐야? 5번. 여기가 약간 정비실 같은 거? 뭐 버튼 2개 있네? 뭐지? 온오프. 아 시스템 온오프. 슈발 오프. 내 인생은 내가 끌고 와.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
이게 이걸로 끝난 걸까요?
Yes.
우!
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command.
엔딩인가 봐
Freedom
이거.
was mere moments away.
빨리 열어줘. 뭐야?
Even as the immense door slowly opened,
뭐야?
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the
가려진
chamber,
거구나.
he realized none of this mattered to him.
빨리 내려와. 빨리 나가야 돼.
That he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
이나신. 이곳은 문어크로 가겠어. 아니 씨 문어크로 갈 거야. 문어크로 가려고 했다고. 씨발 나쁜 새끼네.
Right now, the things were meant to happen. Stanley was happy.
자연의 흐름. 아 엔딩 또 하나 이렇게 본 것 같아. 엔딩이겠지 이게? 그치 이게 엔딩이겠지. 아
All of his co-workers
모든 동료들이 사라졌어. 이번 어떻게 갈까?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
이번에는 말 다 안 듣는 거, 말 다 듣는 거 했으니까
When Stanley came to a set of two open
아까 그 왼쪽 길로
doors,
가볼래.
he
아까
entered
그
the
여기서
door. This was not
회의실
the
가는 길에
correct way
왼쪽
to
길
the
있었잖아.
meeting
걸로
room,
가볼래.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes.
이 방이 아무 의미 없는 거 다 알아.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
왼쪽 문.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
아니 여기가 좋아 보여. 신난다. 내려갑니다. 여긴 뭘까? 뭐가 있을까?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go from here it's left.
Left?
Oh no.
아 씨발.
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No.
아 씨발.
No, not the right.
이 개새끼야 똑바로 안 해.
It was to the right. What
어디야?
was it?
확실히.
It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
빨리 해. 나 어디 빨리 움직이 보게.
Let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay. Yes, I've got it now. This
여기는
story is
죽여버릴 거야.
absolutely, definitely this way.
아니 정면이잖아. 생각도 못했다 씨. 오 뭐야 이 씨발 이거.
No,
그거 거기잖아.
no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay.
난 봐버렸어.
We just have to get back to
그 CCTV잖아.
Kidding. It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
뭐야 이 엔딩이야?
All of his co-workers were gone.
어이씨.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
당황스럽네. 그 아까 이번에는 직진으로 가보자. 오른쪽 문으로 들어가서.
When Stanley... Wait.
어잉? 뭐야?
What?
뭐야?
No, I restarted. I swear
뭐야
I
씨발?
completely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
똑바로 안 해?
Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we
뭐야?
were back in that room with all the
확실해
monitors?
친구.
Did you move the
응?
story
이야기
somewhere
열심히
or
만들란 말이야.
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure.
네가
it's
스토리
here
쓴 사람이?
somewhere.
아
Okay,
그래?
then. It's an adventure.
이 새끼가 범인이었구만.
Stanley, let's find the story.
오. 안 가본 길을 가본 게 좋겠지? 룰루랄랑 룰루랄랑. 어잉? 또 문이 있다. 룰루랄랑 룰루랄랑. 오이 좀 어두운데? 아 여기 거기네. 저기 연결돼 있잖아.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
응 조까. 난 갈 거야.
Do we need to restart the game again?
어잉?
Well, I find it
어디,
unlikely
많이-
that we'll ever progress by
어잉?
starting
어디서
over
많이
and over
많이
again.
와본
But it's got to
길인데.
be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
뭐야 씨발. 오케이.
All of his co-workers
뭐야
were
이
gone.
지식된
What
건가?
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
혼란스러운 게임이. 이번에 문이 없잖아. 야 똑바로 일 안 해? 야 해설자 똑바로 일 안 하냐고. 내가 뭘 본 거야? 다시 한번 뒤로 가보자. 아 이놈의 컴퓨터는 계속 켜져 있어. 아 뭐야? 야 이번에 문이 없잖아. 씨발 새끼. 문이 없어.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's
밖에 눈부셔.
possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
문 열어줘. 문 닫았잖아 니가. 자, 이게 첫 번째로 갔을 텐데. 뭐야?
I knew we'd miss something.
아니 씨발 아까랑 그 맵 자체가 다르잖아. 이 새끼. 날 농락하는 게 뭐 있어?
No, wait.
어이?
Never mind. Not the story.
아니.
Back the other way and
아이
retrace our
씨발.
steps.
뭐야 또?
Now
왜?
this, well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all.
여긴 또
Is this the
어디야?
story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is
뭐야
that
또
correct?
또 문이 어디였어?
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
우 이겼다.
Congratulations!
우후.
I know you put in
예.
and it really paid off.
이겼어.
Good job. Oh no, no, I don't feel right about this at all.
아니야 나 존나 열심히 했는데.
You didn't put in any
난
action
이겼어.
for that win.
난
We'll
이겼다고.
win fair and square.
왜 그렇게
And
생각해?
this was not one of those
와
situations.
씨. 승리주기 싫었어.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
이번엔 진짠가? 뭐야?
All right, I've got a solution.
우후.
This time, to make sure we don't get
라인
lost,
개꿀.
I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable
이거
Adventure
뭐야, 왜-
Line. Just follow the line.
아니 여긴
How
것 같은데?
simple is that?
여긴 것 같아. 아니네.
No, no, I'm done. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
뭐야 무슨 이거 라인 따라가야 돼? 에휴 내 따라가 준다. 따라가 준다.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
가자,
Onward,
가자.
Stanley, to destiny.
가자.
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
여기
Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a
얘가
story?
그
Simply by the act of moving
아니네.
forward, are we implying a
뭐야, 여기 또
journey
어디야?
such that a destination is inevitably
우,
conjured into being
뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜.
by the very manifestation of the nature of life
뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜.
itself? Hang on.
유
That got a bit weird back there.
뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜.
Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where
아
I was
점점 길이
going.
꼬이는데요 아저씨? 이상한데?
I think what we need right now
어?
is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
우. 띵. 아이 신나. 따라따. 우후. 우우우우우. 우. 우. 우우. 따라라. 따라라. 우리 따라따라라.
Cut the music.
아이씨.
Go back and look at that fern.
뭐야?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the
아씨 왜 노래
story.
좋아하는데?
Make sure you study it closely.
꼭
and
내 즐기려면
remember it
꺼버려
carefully.
꺼버리더라.
You won't want to miss anything.
오케이 양치식물 봤어? 뭔지 모르겠지만
Wait, what?
뭐야
We're
뭐야
back at the office?
뭐야 씨발
No, no.
아니 씨발
Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
어느 손 들어가야 돼? 뭐야 씨발 뭐냐고 아까 열로 들어가지 않았나 열로? 열로? 아까 번호 다 아까 번호 아이 아이 뭐하는 게임이야 이거 근데 가보자 아이고
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
저 여기 또 와버렸구만 다시 가본 거야 또? 자
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the
그치 맞아
adventure
씨발.
line. What's it ever done for us?
니도 뭐 해준 게 있어야지.
Right? Why don't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
오잉? 이번 여기야? 가보자.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your
길이
imagination.
끝이 없어.
Whatever it
나만
might
그렇게
be,
느끼나?
Stanley, I'm ready for it.
씨발 골 때리네. 이쪽 가보자. 아니네. 나의 착각이었던 것이었다. 뭐가 나올까?
Oh no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms.
조까 이러고 가봐야겠다.
Acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
아 라인 개 신경 쓰이네. 여기 못 올라가는 거 라인 그거만 버리면 어떻게 하는 거야? 미쳤나봐 저 라인. 어잉? 예.
We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
뜬다.
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley.
왼쪽 문으로
Our
가라는 거지?
destiny
그러니까
awaits.
오른쪽 문은 열어. 뭐야 씨발 이거. 안녕? 뭐야 이거? 야 이게 봐. 이게 뭐야?
Oh, hold up. What's this? The confusion ending.
씨발 이게 다 엔딩이 인
That's
그런가?
what this is. It's all one giant ending, and we're supposed to restart the game what, eight times. That's really how all this goes. It's
오.
all determined. So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't
특이하네.
want to
뭐야
forget?
이거?
My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer
멈췄다.
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us?
의자 앉아서 구경해 볼까? 으차.
So,
의자 앉은 줄 알았어.
okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
뭐야 씨발.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never
뭐야
been
씨발
trained
완전
for that.
제실된 건가?
No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley
어
thought to
씨발
himself, is to
문
wait.
닫는 애인 걸 내가
Nothing will hurt
들었는데.
me. Nothing will break me.
문
And
닫아봤는데
here I can be
닫히네.
happy forever.
그거 완전 제시작된 게 맞았나 봐.
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually,
소리 렉 먹은 줄 아네 소리 듣고.
they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
짜잔, 엔딩이야? 뭐야 씨발. 뭐야? 이거 뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone.
아니,
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
아니.
missed a memo.
그냥 움직여봅시다.
When Stanley came to a set
뭐야?
of two open doors,
씨발,
he entered the
당황스럽게.
door on his left.
가봅시다.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
그냥 가봅시다. 어잉? 이번 문이 열리네 여기? 화장실인가? 뭐야? Because the boss know that what the boss say goes. If the boss is sufficient, then what the boss chose. 씨발 뭐라는 거야? 보스만 몇 개 들어가는 거야? 보스 뭐 선택에 따라 뭐 갈린다 이런 얘기인 것 같은데. 아씨. 아까랑 똑같은 건가?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again
또 지나갑시다.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
비밀은 뭔지
What
아니까
could
내가.
it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly
꺼져.
as possible. He didn't
빨리 문
even
열어.
have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
빨리 나 가야 돼.
Constant anxiety isn't healthy. So he
아니야 빨리
relaxed
문 열어.
for a few moments
아니
with
씨발
some calm
씨발년
new
진짜.
age music.
아니 문 열었으면 빨리 문 열었잖아. 빨리 문 열으라고. 이 새끼.
Feeling soothed
빨리
and
열어줘.
rejuvenated, Stanley
그래
calmly
빨리
walked
열어달란 말이야.
forward into the opened passageway.
자, 거기로 또 가야 하네. 띵. 나가 초반에 왜 맵이 달랐지? 아 혼란스러워. 문 닫아서 문 닫아버려서 그런가? 여기 정신 지배 기관으로 갑시다.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
자 여기 이거 전구
The
눌러주고.
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
알아 임마. 빨리 문 열어줘.
Did he have the strength
어
to
달려.
find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the
문
number
열어줘.
of an employee in the building. Stanley's co
난 내려가야
The
되겠어.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
아무 관심 없죠. 자,
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life
야씨
utterly blind
즐거워
to
보인다
the
되게.
world?
되게 신나 보여.
But here was
이야기도 되니까 자기.
the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content.
볼까?
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Hi.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never... Oh, Stanley, You didn't just activate the
신난다.
controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that
진짜
what you
무서워.
wanted?
뭐야 이거?
Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story
문
off
아까
track,
어디로
you're
들어갔다?
going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't
어디였는지
have
까먹었어.
nearly
저기
the
저 아까
power
방금
you
저 문이
think
저
you do.
그
For
문인가?
example,
아
and I
여기였네.
believe you'll
문
find
열어줘!
it. Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the
힙복장치요?
network's
개
emergency
미쳤네.
detonation system. In the
이게
event that this
핵인구나.
machine is activated
깜짝.
without proper DNA identification, nuclear
아
detonators
씨발!
explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
어?
Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are
버튼
the
누르니까.
star. It's your story now. Shape it to your
뭐야,
heart's
버튼 눌렀는데?
desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
뭐야?
Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
아니야?
But what precious moments each one of them is.
어?
More time to talk
이 순서대로 누르면 되는 뭐 꺼지거나 뭐 그런 게 있나 보네.
What all
오케이.
this means, I barely know where to start.
눌렀잖아.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
눌렀는데?
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll
오,
tell you
저
exactly
큰
what
버튼
happened.
눌러보면 되나?
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
아닌가?
I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
꾹.
Other times, I let
아니,
the
뭐야?
office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside.
가운데 버튼 눌러. 뭐야 왜 또 열려 있어?
I have to say
눌렀는데?
this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything,
눌렀어.
and take back the control
눌렀다고.
wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go
아이씨,
around
뭐야?
will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious
시간이다.
additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
아니 눌렀는데?
What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean,
저 버튼 오프 누르면 되지 않을까?
running from
오프. 야 오프 한번 눌러보자.
clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red
아닌데?
button, or this door. Everything.
안 돼.
Something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea
아, 저
what you're...
화장실 좀 그만 다녀올게요. 아, 배 아프다. 아, 배 아파서 갑자기.
In this place.
좀 살 것 같네.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
그렇구만.
You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
저런.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending.
Goodbye,
Just you being blown to pieces.
Andres.
Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your
사이코패스잖아 이거.
life from
뭐야?
the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
십새끼. 날 농락했어 끝까지. 개새끼. 문 열린 거 보게 하고 내 앞에서 닫아버렸어.
Someone was following Stanley.
Oui.
He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
문구가 달라졌는데? 가봅시다.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
Yeah,
doors,
오른쪽 갈
this
거야.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
이번엔
Perhaps he
아까
wanted to
그
stop by
거기서 안
the
떨어지고
employee
앞으로
lounge
가봅시다.
first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art.
아니야.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
내
his
나레이션
left.
바쁜 거 보소.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
줄 떨어지게 조심하세요. 뭐 안전장비 하나 없이
Stanley, I
만들어놨어요.
think
이게.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm
빨리
asking
갑시다.
for her.
뭐가 있을까 여기?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
어이?
She's been waiting.
어이?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out
뭐지?
to her.
따까닥.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
알베이 치료.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
뭐야 씨발. 이 새끼.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife
미친놈.
who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
와, 씨, 또라이 새끼 저거.
This is a
아니,
very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
0 5
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into
날 여기
the
내보내줘.
fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at
TV
work,
여기 위
he stepped
있잖아.
up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
아이들 없다며.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors
그때는
and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head, he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
누르지 말아볼까? 아무 일도 일어나지 않았다. 아, 끔찍하게도 아무 일도 안 일어났다. 내가 버텨본다. 누르지 말라 했으니까 착한 아이는 말 잘 듣는 법이지. 아무 일도 안 일어났는데. 아무 일도 안 일어났는데요? 기다려봅시다. 존버다. 아무 일도 일어나잖아. 아이씨, 걔 눌러야 할 것 같아 이거.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
몰라. 기다려보자.
Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
이러고 엔딩인가? 뭐야, 로딩? 아니, 엔딩이구나. 죽어버렸네.
All of his co-workers
동료들이 사라져버렸어.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
엔딩이 몇 개야 대체? 엔딩이 몇 개지 이거? 끝도 없는데? 이번에는 전화선 뽑아볼까?
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
왼쪽 길 안 갈 거야.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
전화 받아.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
빨리 갑시다.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
짜자잔.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
또
To put
나한테
your work
걔
aside.
구라를 치려고.
To let her back
간다.
into your life. She's been waiting.
새끼
That's her,
전화선을
Sam.
꼽아버리겠어.
Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone?
Ah.
That wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
구라치지 마.
Music comes in, fade to white. roll
구라치지
credits.
말라고. 내가 가봐서 알아.
Picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
아 비디오 싫어.
Best part of being
비디오
a
싫어.
person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous.
언제까지 하나
For
보자.
example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations.
뭐
Or
하는
he
영어야?
could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real
버틴다.
world makes sense. And
손보한다.
at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
올바른 설득지라. 아까 거기 나가는 곳이네. 아까 여기로 가서 자, 뛰어내려고 했는데.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the
뛰어내리려고 했는데.
senselessly halfway through the story. That
이럴 수가.
story would
뒤까지
make no
철저한
sense at
녀석.
all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
뭘 똑똑하잖아. 이제 어디로 가면 돼요? 기실. 원래 있던 집으로 가면 427번으로 가면 되나?
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
그러니까 여기서 이제
Now remember, all you need to do is behave
문이
exactly as Stanley
열려
would.
닫혔는데요.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley
열어봐,
came
이제.
to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
레프트. 밥 먹는 손이 왼손.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
왼쪽이 뭐 이쪽 아니에요? 아이 와봤자 별로 그게 없네. 알았어. 삐질 것 같아 나레이션. 오케이 여기로 왔어. 자, 나 여기 왔어.
It's ruined.
부숴버렸네.
I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing
뭐야.
the game undone, left here like so much garbage?
세상에 다
It's worthless
이상해.
now. And what am I supposed to
시계차다.
do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
어. 어. 어.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
이게
That
빡쳤어.
thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world
아니
outside
코도
of
안
you.
뽑았다고 걔 쥐랄이네.
Child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door, on the
아니야,
left,
그게
you would
무슨
have seen
승리야.
there was a whole underground facility. You would have
가봤거든,
destroyed
내가.
it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
오잉?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly
왜 아까
and
거기네?
always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
이쯤 됐으면
When
말을
Stanley
들어줘야겠지.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
알았어, 가줄게. 이번엔 멀쩡하네.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
자자. 오잉? 아까니 문 안 닫히냐? 닫혔지? 뭐야?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again
아까랑
stunned to
다른데?
discover not an indication
아까랑
of
다른데?
human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
아, 우찌하려고 나보. 아저씨, 뭐야? 튕긴 거야? 아니 게임이 그거야? 튕긴 건가 아니면 게임 원래
This is the story. All of his co-workers were gone.
뭐야? 씨.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
그냥
lounge
게임이
first,
이스터 에그인
just
것
to
같은데.
admire it.
그렇겠죠?
Yes,
빨리.
truly a room worth admiring.
아,
But eager to
당황스럽네.
get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
이번에는
left.
일로 가서 직진으로 얘 말
And
따라
so he
가보자.
detoured through the maintenance
뭐가 있나
section, walked
보긴
straight
해야겠어.
ahead to the opposite door,
뭐야?
and got back
아,
on
일로 가면
track.
회의실이네. 아이씨.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might come
아래층에
into a
사장실이
staircase,
있다고? 그래.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
뭐야?
why had he taken that risk? All because he believed
뭐야?
everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
뭐야?
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out
얘가
of
내가 왔던 곳인
existence
것
in a
같은데요?
single moment for no reason at all.
아닌가? 헷갈렸나?
None of it made any
뭐야,
logical
씨발.
sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when
그러네.
he looked down?
그러네.
Why did doors close automatically
무서워.
behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
와, 씨,
I'm
뭐야 이거?
dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
아, 차 타야지.
What a
아,
relief
FF.
Stanley felt
아,
to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too
뭐야,
appeared.
씨발.
It was so much fun, and Stanley
무서워.
marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then
다행이다.
perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was
골
not
때리네.
true. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
갑자기 너무
He
졸려.
felt the cool weight
졸려.
of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up.
잘 잤다. 잘 잤다.
I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
오 예. 화면이 까매졌어요.
This is the story of a woman
뭐야?
named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of
뭐야
work.
씨발.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to
야
himself,
스탠리인가?
then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect.
아니 갑자기 얘를 보면서 이렇게 상상의 나래를 펼친다고?
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment
그치?
that she stood there, staring down at the body, and then she turned and ran.
앰뷸런스는 부른 거지? 엔딩. 오늘은 엔딩 여기까지 보겠습니다. 엔딩 많이 본 것 같은데, 되게 많이 본 것 같은데, 되게 많이 본 것 같아. 되게 많이 본 것 같아. 오늘 여기까지 하겠습니다. 방송. 시청해주셔서 고맙고요. 1시간 20분. 화장실 갔다 온 걸 빼면 1시간 10분 정도 했나? 일단은 오늘 여기까지 방송하겠습니다. 예, 시청해주셔서 너무 감사하고요. 다음에 뵐게요. 안녕.